Good morning, afternoon, or evening. My name is Shannon, and today I am going to be talking with you guys about annotating. I'm going to be talking about how I annotate, what I annotate, the products I use, and how my annotating style has evolved since I started reading. So, I did not annotate when I first started reading books. I think it was only 2 books that I didn't annotate when I first started getting back into reading. The first book I did start tabbing was Greenwich Park by Catherine Faulkner. And looking back, I don't like at all how I tabbed that book, but that's what I did. And when I did start annotating though, I was only tabbing things. I wasn't underlining, I wasn't doing any of that. I was just tabbing what I felt I wanted to tab, something that was important or something along those lines. Then I started to underline and pencil what I was tabbing when I tabbed a book. Then it evolved to using a pen, and now how I currently do it is I use multiple different colors of pens. I highlight on occasion, I tab things, I use different tabs, I really mark my books up. I write in the margins, I do all this kind of stuff. When I do write in the margins though, it's never an analysis on what I'm reading, it's always just my commentary on what's going on usually. The 2 books that I've annotated the most, definitely have the most annotations out of every book I own, or every book I've read. The first one is definitely Fourth Wing because I haven't physically annotated that. I really highlighted things on my Kindle, but I do intend on putting those annotations on a book. I'm just waiting for the paperback to come out. But I ended up highlighting like 600 things, and that book is only 500 pages in tangible form. The next book that I've annotated the most, Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. I'm just gonna give you a quick glimpse into this book. So, like I said, definitely annotated this book a lot. There are definitely more tabs in this book than number of pages. I love this book with all my heart. It has all my original annotations from the entire day I spent reading this whole book. I think it took me 15 hours to read this. I love it so much, and I think annotating is so special, especially when you go back and you look back at your annotations and you see all the things that you loved so much about this book again. The way that I annotate, I've seen many different booktubers and bookstagrammers and book talkers and all that kind of stuff talk about how they annotate. To my recollection, I have not seen anyone that I watch annotate the way I annotate, and that is I give tabs to characters rather than an emotion or something happening or something like that. For instance, so you can see each tab color is associated with a different character in the book. And the only tab that is not about a character, and this doesn't happen on every book I read, but it does happen on occasion, where if you saw in this, it says beautiful lines. And what that means is the author has written something, it may not even be significant, but the author wrote something in a way that just sounded so lyrical and beautiful to me that I wanted to tab it. I usually feel that most strongly with justice writing, but I have started experiencing it with other authors as well. About what I tab. I typically only tab things I would like to reread when I want to look back on this book. For instance, I always go into a book with the intent of annotating it, because if I absolutely love it, I'm going to want the annotations from when I first read that book. But I usually just tab anything I'd want to go back on, anything that I thought was funny, a funny comeback, or something of significance to the plot. Just, there are so many different things you can annotate, and it is such a subjective manner that literally no one can tell you you're doing it wrong. You do what feels right to you, and that is it. I remember when I first started annotating books, it was hard for me to break out of that shell that I had in my mind and start writing on books, start highlighting books. Especially highlighting was really hard for me, and marking up books, because I feel like I'm damaging it, but you're not. You're making it yours. No one is going to have that same book as you. Literally no one. It doesn't matter if you have the same edition. That book is specific to you now that you have put your annotations in it, and I think that's really, really special. When I write my books, like I said earlier, I don't analyze the text. I have never been good at that. I never look too deeply at the way that I'm reading something is written. If I am enjoying it, that's all I need. That is all I need. A book's writing will only stand out to me if there's a spelling error, which I have noticed in some books occasionally, but it's usually just an editing slip up. If the writing is bad, I'm not going to be able to tell. I'm enjoying myself. Anyhow, when I write in books, it's usually something like this. I get very emotionally invested in books, and I will be giggling, and I'll be giddy, and I'll be screaming about a book. There are times when my husband will come out of his office, which is sharing a wall with this room, and he'll be like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, the couple just got together. Nothing to see here." I'm just going to start showing you my annotating tools, the things I use to annotate, because I feel like I can't describe it adequately without doing that. So, I tab a lot. I annotate a lot, especially on longer books or books that I know I'm going to be annotating a lot in. For example, all of the Chestnut Spring series books I annotate a lot of. Anywho, with books that I know I'm going to be annotating a lot, I want to adequately show you guys all the colors, but it's kind of hard with my hand to not be completely splayed. I really enjoy using this set of tabs. I will link everything I show you guys down below if you are interested in getting it, just so you guys are aware. But the thing I love about these tabs is, if you can tell, they have repeating colors, because I ran into a problem pretty early on where I would use all of one color of a tab on a sheet like this, and then I would have to start a new thing of tabs to have the same color, and that always bothered me because I like to tab my books a lot, and I feel that I can only use one set of these per book, so it really held me back. But with all of these, they all have the same color twice, and I literally love it so much because it makes me have 40 tabs rather than 20 tabs per color. Although on some books I end up using like 3 or 4 of these. I wish I were kidding. I'm simply not. I literally love all the colors of these. I use them all the time, because they can almost always be applied to a cover, or at least one of them can always be applied to a cover. But whenever I use these, and I know I'm going to be tabbing a lot, I also use these. These are clearly running low, and I actually have brand new ones right here, but I don't feel like I'm packing all of those to show you them with a pack like this. And it has the exact same colors too. Like, they're literally the exact same colors. I use these typically for dialogue, and then I use these for internal thoughts, typically, or an action. These are almost exclusively used for dialogue for me. But then, with a book like this though, where I obviously tab a lot, and I need a lot more than the 5 colors they give you twice. I also use just regular tabs. I will use these for side characters, for characters I don't think I'll be using tabs with as much, and I find that that works really, really well. But so many intricacies on a book where I know even that is not going to be enough and I will need more colors because there are just so many characters. I will use one of these. And these are all individually wrapped, and I don't like to unwrap them before I use them because I put all my tabs in the same spot, and when they're individually wrapped like this, it's not really possible for them to accidentally scrape one of the stickers off. And so I find that keeping them wrapped up is so much easier. But these, first off, they always have a wide range of colors. Like, we have blue options, we have green options, we have purple options, and then we have like a darker one, and I feel like that covers bases for all possible covers. If you can tell, there are 2 more colors on this than there are on this. So I find these really helpful for books where I know I will be tabbing for a lot of characters. Usually a book like Chestnut Springs or the Twisted series or ACOTAR, it's always usually for a series. And especially with interconnected series, I find it so much easier to use these because I like being able to tab for all the things that the characters in the current book and from the previous books. Like, I just finished Hopeless today, and there are so many things from Cade, from Willa, from Summer, from Rhett, from Lucas, and Harvey, and all these characters that I absolutely love that I want to tab. And with these, it makes it a lot easier. And then with these regular tabs, I also use these a lot with just a good book. I know that sounds really weird, but I used a regular set of tabs for When in Rome because it's short, it's sweet, I don't need a ton of tabs to annotate this the way that I like to annotate books. Now that we have talked about tabs, I feel like a disgusting amount, I'm going to talk about writing utensils. I use these pens, Pigma Micron black pens. I found them at Walmart one day, and they've literally been my favorite black pen for annotating ever since then. They come, or at least the packs I get, come with a .03, a .01, and then a .05 pen, so they range in thickness. I usually like to use the .01 or the .03. The .05 is a little too thick for me, but I use the .05 with my reading journal all the time. Anywho, I love these. I've never experienced any bleeding with these. I typically use black for most side characters. So if I'm annotating a romance book and I want to underline something a side character has said, someone who is not in the main couple, I will use one of these. And then for the couple, it always changes the color based on what the cover is, but typically I use one of the Zebra Sarsa fine liners. I love these pens so much. I've never experienced, again, any bleeding with any of these. I think they're so nice with underlining and writing in the margins, all that jazz. These work really, really well. But sometimes, because I have looked extensively on the internet for a large pack of these, like a 20 pack, and I've never been able to find one that is in stock. They always say they're out of stock. So I also got these Pen & Gear Ultra Fine Felt Tip markers from Walmart. These work pretty well. They bleed sometimes. I only use these if, I wouldn't say if I'm desperate, but I will use these if I feel that the color matches better to the tab or the cover or something of that essence. But if it's possible, I will always be using these. I love these pens so much. Now, highlighters. I highlight things in my book that I feel are very important. Typically, it's not just banter. It's not just a funny line of dialogue. I highlight things that I feel are very important to the story or very important to character development. Something along those lines. It's not just something that I wanted to go back and reread. It's something that I felt was of major importance. Anywho, for the highlighters that I do use, I really like the Mr. Pen, I believe they're called Bible highlighters, but I really like these. I have never experienced a problem. I've never experienced any bleeding with these, which I greatly appreciate. It's what made me scared to start highlighting in my books, because I was really scared about bleed through, but I've never experienced that with any of these. I bought the 20 pack, I think, for $12. It came with a lot of really nice colors. I could definitely find one for any book that I need to use. When I looked into getting highlighters, I first got the Zebra Midliners, which are the highlighters that are dual-ended, and they're nice. I use them for my reading journal all the time, but with a book, I have to go lightning speed fast when I highlight, otherwise it's bleeding through. That has been my experience with those. If you have had a different experience, I am so happy for you, but they are not my favorite thing to use on a book because it makes me anxious. With these, I looked at the reviews and I saw that some people said that it ran out of ink pretty fast. I have not experienced that at all, but I wouldn't say that I highlight a lot in books anyway, so that might be a problem for you. I am not too sure, but I have never experienced anything like that. I have another set of highlighters to show you. These ones are much bigger. They are the Zaire highlighters in the vintage colors. I just got the big pack of 12. It came in 2 different packs. Like, they came together and I ordered it together, but when it shipped, it was a cool pack and a romance pack, so it was like warm and cold colors. But these are also really good in my experience. They don't bleed through. Again, that's something that's really important to me. I can't stress that enough. And the colors are so pretty. I think you can tell. I literally love the colors. In my opinion, these colors are more vibrant than the other ones, but these, I feel, run a bigger risk of bleeding through. So, depending on how hard you press on your highlighter, these would be more likely to bleed through than these ones. But I do think these are prettier colors. I think that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed or took something away from this. If you guys are interested in any of the products that I have talked about, they will all be linked down below. I sincerely hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more book videos. All of my social media is linked down below if you want to talk to me on either Goodreads or Instagram. Make sure to turn the notification bell on so you guys get notified right when I post a new video. I hope you guys are having an absolutely wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are in the world, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!